One of the things we haven't actually talked about is the options for playing Hex Command Nova. Of course, just like the rest of the Hex Command series, there's a ton of options, and like any other game, really, you can always do without certain rules or make up new rules. It's completely up to the players and the judge and how you want to play the game. Um, One of the aspects of a miniature war game is the sense or the topic or the knowledge that the players need to have commanders in the field for the objectives. What are the objectives? What's the reason for being here? Well, in our case, where's my little pointer? We've established that there's one facility on this game table, and it's that one right there. Um, all right, sorry, I have my pointer now. Um, so we've established that this is it right here. This is one objective. Well, it's maybe the objective. Is it the only objective? Well, in a game of, depending on the size of the area involved, this is roughly 4x3 table. A little bit smaller because of the fact that it's part of the quadrant games at Adepticon, so it's a little bit smaller. Um, it's actually kind of narrow. Anyway, that's one objective right there. Is it the objective for the whole thing? I mean, you take this, you win. Well, maybe, but what does taking it mean? What does that mean? Well, the only way you can really say such things is to say, if you have to take that spot right there, I'm going to put that marker down. That says objective, right? Just very simple. Get your guy to land on that, and I guess you have to say he has to stay there for the whole game in order to claim it. You can't just, like in a video game, you can't just get there and get the reward and have it go bloop into you and then leave. Well, kind of wish you could. Maybe he can take it with him, right? Again, as you can see, it's the round 1.5-inch dial disc, and maybe that mech, when we get it printed for his little 3-disc holder thingy, the stand-up thing for the game table, maybe that goes into his little pocket, right? Maybe he gets there and he takes the objective marker. Okay, fine. Should we have it labeled? Well, no. We should have it recorded for where the objective markers are. That could be, objective number 1. And in this case, the numbers will designate how the severe the reward is. So objective number 1 is the best. Or actually, let's do it this way. Objective number 1 is worth 10 points. All right, so then you get 10 points. Now, what does 10 points mean? Well, you can decide what that means. Maybe it means you fire twice per turn for the rest of the game, yada, yada, yada. Okay, then there's other objectives. There's other objectives, and where you put them on the game table has an impact on how the players play the game. And you could say, look, in order to win this game, you have to have more objectives than the opponent. So here's an example. Put one right there. Well, why right there, right, as opposed to anywhere else? I don't know, just arbitrary. But when you look at where it is, it's like, it's not exactly, it's equidistant between where, hypothetically, because we don't really know yet, the two opposing forces are entering. Okay, that's not bad. That's an interesting place, right? And then maybe there's going to be 2 more, right? Are they going to be inside this peninsula? Could be, right? We could put one right there. Whoops, wrong one. Right? Could put one right there. And then maybe another one could be, thinking maybe like right there, right? When you think about it, again, they're in the middle of the table, almost equidistant between the 2 entering forces. And here's the other thing too. Remember this. Are all these forces entering at once? Probably want to legislate that and say no, not exactly. Well, how many are entering then? Okay, first of all, there's no mechs on the table. How many are entering for each player and when? Well, one way of doing that is to say that you enter one mech every other turn, right? Very simple. First, choose your mech. Which one you want to put in first? Light, medium, heavy, it's up to you. Remember, the light guys move real fast. The heavy guys got big, blah, blah, armor and weaponry and everything. Or you put in your missile guy and your artillery piece, but, if you lose him, you only got one. Although some mechs do have their own, sense of artillery. They have their own rockets. So, right? Who comes in first? You decide. Um, if you want to look at it that way, every other turn. So first turn, third turn, fifth turn, and the seventh turn, and that's it. There's only 4 mechs per side. You're done. Could it come in earlier? Maybe. Random event might take that into consideration. Could a reinforcement, if you want to look at it that way, be delayed? Yep, could also be delayed. The player could have reinforcements lost card, which means that it may be you got a die roll when it's going to come in. And again, hence the reason for what we're printing now is a dice holder that's also going to be put on our little stand-up disc holder. So our disc holder and the card holder that we talked about earlier is now it's morphing now into a nice, interesting game table organizer for each mech. And should you have a player that's in charge of all that, like an administrator monitoring, so not every player has to, you might, but, that's kind of a luxury. So, appointing one person, hey, we're going to be on our side, we want you to keep track of everything for us, because we're going to concentrate on, attacking, maneuvering, blah, blah. So would you like to do that? Could you do that? Just watch everything and let us know what's happening, because that's a lot of, when the more mechs you have, the more administrative stuff might be needed to be, delegated to somebody else. I don't know. It's up to you. But anyway, so there's the point. And you can see now the objectives are on the table. You got to record where they are, right? Otherwise, you'll forget. So, we'll take a picture, and that's one way of recording where this stuff all is. So.